raise your hands out there in TV land. How many of you like a good fight? We're going to get inside the boxing ring today. Here is the consummate CNBC Bull and the CNBC Bear. Side by side, gloves off, and we've got one of each with us today. Yeah. Yoshi is still here. And who else? Look who's dropped by. He was in the neighborhood. Dr. Marc Faber, editor-publisher of the Gloom, Boom, and Doom Report. Now, let's start this convo, sirs, and find out who is the bear and who is the bull here. I think you're growing horns today, Mark.
Oh, not at all. As you know, I'm ultra bearish about the world. I think we're all doomed because the governments are taking over and they will all bankrupt us and expropriate us, but it may not happen tomorrow. So they'll give us something to play with until the whole system breaks down, and that is a bull market. They'll just print money and print more money.
Well, there you have it, Marty. Unbridled pessimism from Dr. Doom.
Oh, you big bear, you. Michael, where do you stand?
I'm not an ultra bear. I'm concerned. I think that much of what Mark brings up, I think, actually makes a lot of sense in terms of concerns that we need to be watching for. I think it's a matter of where those concerns go that we tend to disagree. I think that the bearish concerns that he has are going to be a negative for the markets. I think it's going to be a negative for the economy, which I think then means it will slow growth down. It won't kill growth. It won't result in collapse. It'll just simply slow growth down. Eventually, emerging markets will rise. The United States will not grow as fast, so the balance of power will start to shift. That's my view. Now, I'm stunned to find that's an optimistic view, but relatively speaking, that is an optimistic view. I know that compared to the more bullish folks on Wall Street, I am considered pretty negative, pretty concerned. But again, it's just a matter of what outcomes.
Karen, the two gentlemen in the studio, are raring for a fight here.
I was just noticing Mark's hook there had quite a swing to it, a little bit of a punch, bit of power behind that punch. Mark, what do you make of all these strong earnings reports coming out of Wall Street? Do you think it's all linked to the fact that the Fed is printing money? Is this all stimulus gains that we're seeing in earnings reports, or is there real strength for recovery, sustainability buried somewhere underneath all those reports?
Well, I think, first of all, in 2009, the corporate sector was very quick to lay off people, so they cut down on their employees dramatically, and sales have not been great by and large. So the growth is not sustainable unless revenues come back, and that may take a while. But don't misunderstand me. I think before we all are doomed, the markets can go much, much higher because of the stimulus that the government has brought about, that the stimulus packages that will eventually bankrupt the sovereign states. Secondly, they're going to print and print and print. And the Goldman Sachs indictment is actually a very good excuse to print more eventually.
Since you brought up Goldman, I mean, you choose off the a la carte menu. You've got the Goldman thing, and, the fists are up in that standoff there. Greece, they're still going around in circles there. What's going to be the big litmus test? What do you think is going to upset the balance of nature as we know it?
Well, actually, I think that Goldman Sachs is a rather honest firm. They have a very strict compliance department compared to the others. They're like an angel. But they targeted Goldman because it stands as a symbol of Wall Street. Yeah. Plus, it's also Israel. You understand? So they go after Goldman Sachs. The approval rating of Mr. Obama has plunged, even or because of the health care reforms. And now they go after Goldman Sachs to distract the attention of the people and target the minority, Wall Street and Goldman Sachs. And maybe the intention is not to hurt Goldman Sachs, but just to gain popularity with the middle class and the lower classes of America. So they will perceive Mr. Obama to have done something against the evil Wall Street.
Right, there's a rare.
And the evil Bernie Lowe at CNBC.
Now, wait a minute. This is getting ugly personal here.
Yes.
I think Lloyd Blankfein's a pretty happy man, having heard from Dr. Doom there, Mike.
Yeah, I think that the Goldman story, at this point, we just don't know how deep it's going to run. At this point, it does seem like a fairly isolated case. Well, I wanted to comment a bit, if I could, on what Mark has said, because, investors will watch CNBC. They're looking for investable, actionable advice.
Yes.
Right?
Correct.
So
I have here all this.
You have all your actions. I got that. So you've got all these ideas, and basically, I think if anybody was to say, "What do you stand for?" Basically, it's that the world is coming to an end. I think that's
correct.
Okay. But at the same time, you just kind of slid in there that for the time being,
yes,
it's okay to invest. So it's very important for investors to realize there's a time horizon shift here.
Yes.
I know that in your previous GBD newsletters, you talked about how the disaster.
Doom.
What did I say?
Boom, and doom.
Boom, doom report.
Gentlemen, we'll pick up on this chat.